These words from "Your faith is your fortune" changed my life. And here's what Neville Goddard said. Stop trying to change the world, since it is only the mirror. Man's attempt to change the world by force is as fruitless as breaking the mirror in the hope of changing his face. Leave the mirror and change your face. Leave the world alone and change your conceptions of yourself. The reflection then will be satisfactory. And this is one of the most famous quotes from Neville Goddard. It's also one of the most eye-opening ones because, yes, we always try to change the world by force, but as Neville Goddard said, it's as fruitless as breaking the mirror in the hope of changing your face. And we try to change the world by force, and the best example would be manifesting money, or in this case, earning money, because you really have to earn it through struggling and sacrificing. And then people try to work harder. They work overtime and they work themselves sometimes into an early grave and sometimes on an operating table in a hospital, which is something that happened to me, or simply in the hospital, or at least in bed because they can't really function anymore. And their bank account, yeah, well, maybe it goes up a little bit, maybe they achieve some level of material success, but to be honest, true abundance is not just measured by the amount you have in your bank account. It's not just measured by the amount of money you have, because, I mean, you can be the richest person in the world. If you are always stressed and you're bedridden because of disease that you have because you're always stressed, then in my humble opinion, you're not very abundant. You are abundant by becoming somebody who can easily, effortlessly manifest and attract money. That does not mean that you never again have to take any action. I'm all for inspired action. I believe that when the bridge of incidents is built for us and we take inspired action, that this can be both a fulfilling and a rewarding process. But what I truly believe and wholeheartedly believe is that hard work is not necessary to become successful. Because in my 20s, I was working 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I was struggling, I was suffering, I was sacrificing, and I was barely making $1,000 a month. And nowadays I'm making more than $20,000 a month, and I'm living a very chillaxed life. Which means that I know from my own personal experience that trying to change the world by force is truly as fruitless as breaking a mirror in the hope of changing your face. You have to leave the mirror and change your face. You have to leave the world alone and change your conceptions of yourself. The reflections then will be satisfactory. That's what Neville Goddard says to us in Your Faith is Your Fortune. And yes, the world is a mirror. The external reality that you experience at the moment reflects your inner state. What you see out there always begins in here, which means what you see in your physical reality always begins within you. And I made experiences with clients where they had all kinds of different limitations, limiting experiences before they started working with me, no matter if it was financial struggle, if it was loneliness, if it was facing racism, if it was facing difficult situations with family members, if it was problems in the relationship, if it was health issues. And then in this process of working with me and by them changing, because always remember, I'm not the one who changes you. I'm only somebody who can guide you, who can help you and share with you exactly what worked for me. But in the end, you have to make the changes. And by them changing, their reality completely shifted. People were reacting differently to them. They were meeting different people. They were experiencing different realities where suddenly all these problems, no matter if we're talking about health issues, if we're talking about loneliness, if we're talking about racism, if we're talking about financial struggle, all these different things, these different elements from their old reality, they were flowing away, floating away, and they were gone. They were completely gone. And I've seen it not with one client, I've seen it with dozens of clients. And it all starts by you changing your self-concept, which means, who are you? Just like a method actor steps into a role, you have to step into a new role if you want to create a new reality. And the only way for you to create a new reality is to step into that new role. There is no way around it. I wish I could simply tell you to repeat a few affirmations and to not feel yourself into them, or to simply write a check to yourself and to then look at it every day. That's not enough. And don't get me wrong, you can manifest by writing yourself a check, but then you have to feel yourself into this reality. You have to immerse yourself into this reality every day. You have to ask yourself, how would that abundant version of me act? How would that abundant version of me talk? How would that abundant version of me walk? How would that abundant version of me do X, Y, Z? What would you, as this abundant version who has the amount of money that you see on that check, who are you? So assume a new identity. If you want the world to treat you differently, assume internally that you are already that new person who gets treated differently, who has different experiences, who has a different amount of money in his or her bank account. And this is something that we will do together in great detail in my 8-week Abundance Reality Shift coaching program. And if you're ready to find out more about this coaching program, you can click on the link in the description to find out more about it. I would be honored if you gave me the opportunity to help you and to guide you on this journey. And of course, repetition is a part of it. It can be a part of it and it should be a part of it, but it's not the be-all, end-all. Always remember that mindless repetition is simply manifesting in vain. That's something that Neville Goddard also described. But that doesn't mean that you can only manifest once and then let it go and say, la la la, I will never look at my desire again. Because we cannot ignore our desires. They are a part of us. When you are suffering from a health issue, you cannot ignore the desire of being healthy. You cannot let go of it. That's completely normal. And when you are struggling financially, you cannot let go of the desire to be wealthy. And that's okay. What letting go truly means is that you let go of when and how the manifestation shows up in your reality. But what you then do, because you let go of the obsession with the how and the when, is to every day, through repetition, you immerse yourself into this new self-image, through imagination, through your inner dialogue, aka your mental diet, and of course by feeling yourself into this new reality, because remember, feeling is the secret. So feel, what would it feel like to be this abundant, wealthy version of you? Visualize scenes where others treat you in alignment with your new self, treat you as the abundant person, see yourself being surrounded by abundant people, see yourself in new abundant places, in new abundant environments, and then also on a practical physical level, go to these environments, act from the new state, think, speak, and move in ways that are in alignment with the person you now claim to be. Because remember, if you really live in the end, you don't wait for external proof, you live now as if the change has already occurred, which means yes, in your current physical reality, you might not be able to go to a Michelin star restaurant, but you can make the decision to at least find ways to immerse yourself in more abundant environments, to take a walk in the most abundant area in your city. I mean, I did that all the time. Whenever I visited my parents in Germany, I always walked in the evening through the most abundant area, or at least one of the most abundant areas in my city, and the people probably looked out of the window and thought, who is that guy? Oh no, he's walking around again. But I did that because I immersed myself into this environment. You have to detach completely from your old reflection, which means you don't react to the old mirror, so to speak, or to the old, how do you say it again? To the old reflection in the mirror. That's how you say it. Because always remember, if you want a new reality, you have to change the person who looks into the mirror. You have to change who you are and accept only what aligns with your new face, which means that you have to reject inner and outer suggestions that are in conflict with your new state of being. You have to be aware of what you consume, aware of who you talk to. Are you continuing to simply say, that really sucks, I mean, the economy, it's terrible, when you talk to a friend or to a family member who's complaining? Or are you shifting your inner dialogue and maybe even tell them, let's focus on something positive right now? Who are you as this new self? Do you continue to watch YouTube videos about people who are struggling and one drama after another? Or are you watching business class reviews? Are you watching documentaries about luxury living because that's the life you want to manifest? What actions do you take every day? Remember that you have to change who you are. And once you change who you are, then inevitably your reality will change. And if you're ready to find out more about my 8-week one-on-one coaching program, the Abundance Reality Shift Coaching Program, then you can click on the link in the description or go to nevilledecoded.com. And in this coaching program, I at the moment offer a very special bonus session for clients who join this month, and you can watch countless video testimonials from previous coaching clients who have completely transformed their reality. And of course, if you're ready to discover the exact attitude of mind that allowed me to become a millionaire, then I invite you to watch the video that you now see on the screen.